What is this? The next mission in the game makes a reference to war-related media? Why, it can only be the next mission of Battalion Wars, of course. Ah, Kuju, never stop doing that.
Did you see that? We flanked their blockers in the neutral zone and blitzed their defense wide open. Austin, Betty, join us. I was just going through the latest action replays with our new ally.
Our new ally?
General Harman has an excellent command of military strategy.
He does?
Indeed. But the greatest general is she who averts conflict altogether. Wouldn't you say? T, anyone?
Yes, truly the greatest general is she who averts conflict altogether by allowing all of her units to get captured. Also, I'm not sure what mission was being shown on the TV there, but the latest action replays is actual Battalion Wars gameplay, and that's so awesome.
Head hut, Commander. North of our position are 3 ex-Sylvanian military targets. A munitions dump. A fuel refinery. And a communications tower. Captured frontier missile and bazooka veterans are being held in these installations.
Welcome to the Coral Atolls campaign. It's probably my favorite out of all 4 campaigns because it has some of my favorite levels, including this one. Now, I should mention that although it seems like a more open-ended mission, which is what I've been craving since the start of the game, basically, it is actually in your best interest to go to the communications tower first, because that's where the missile veteran POWs are. And of course you want those in case gunships try to attack you. Lo and behold, there's a couple of gunships hovering above the fuel refinery. But first things first, useless rocket troops. Because apparently rockets are a good idea to have when the only unit in the enemy's battalion that rockets are good against is the heavy recon. I don't know why they give you a heavy recon in this level, but I guess it's a nice gesture. Anyways, here comes the communications tower. First thing I want to do is take out that watchtower, because we all know how annoying it is when you leave gun turrets alive. And of course we have a few more infantry that we need to flush out of cover. They're really getting the most out of the mortar veterans in this game, I noticed. And of course there's miniguns, and that minigun, it walked right into the grenade that I had shot. I don't care about AI bugs. That thing walked right into my grenade. Man, I love this game, and I love mortar veterans. Everything is just so cool when it comes together like this. Anyway, you can take out the 2 MG nests that are in there from outside by positioning yourself just right and firing. You need to be a fair, good distance away from the bamboo fence here. Now, you don't really need to take out the MG nest this way, because you could just poke your head inside the gate there, fire at the MG nest, and then roll out. But hey, this is way cooler, so obviously I have to do it this way. Now, the POWs are right there across from the comm tower, but you don't want to free them too quickly, because if there's enemies in place when they're freed, then the enemies might shoot them up and you'll lose 1 or 2 of them rather easily. There's the flag, you just gotta order your troops at it to capture it. I'm not sure why I use my flame veterans for that. Probably to keep them out of harm's way of the gunships that are coming up right here. Now these gunships are really weird, however. It was mentioned that the comm tower here controls the gunships somehow, and you'll see that when I capture the comm tower, the gunships fly away. I am not sure why that is. They have you in their sights, they really should just keep firing. Anyhow, once you've captured the comm tower, the 2 gunships fly down to the fuel refinery, which may as well be your next objective because the ammo dump is past the fuel refinery, so yeah, this is a terrible mission in terms of non-linearity. But then again, we don't look for that in competent level design, usually. And it's a fairly decently designed level. I mean, the missile veterans are useless once we take out this gunship because there are no more in the level at all. Okay, maybe this mission isn't designed so well, but you know what? I forgot to take out these watchtowers. I should probably go and do that. Otherwise, I'm bound to lose one. There are also heavy recons in here, which I suppose at least means that they get more use out of the heavy recon unit. I mean, I think the enemy would have preferred tanks there, Kuju. Very good. Here's some POWs that you should free as soon as possible because they're bazooka veterans. 8 of them, as a matter of fact. That's a lot of bazooka veterans. And you're giving us 8 of them. 8 of the single best ground-to-ground unit in the game. Except for mortar veterans. Anyhow, there's going to be a few more explosions. I'm going to leave this watchtower with 1 hit point and fail to shoot at it one more time very easily. It's the explosion of the bazooka shell that catches the watchtower there. Very roundabout. There's a couple of heavy recons coming down the mountain here. My troops should be able to handle it, but I seem to have missed a couple of units as well as the flag. Nobody is ever going to get shot by that watchtower, but I'm going to destroy it anyways, because acknowledging its existence will make it feel better. Okay, that bazooka shot did not hit anything. It clipped the edge of the house's hitbox there. Here's a couple of rocket units who have not noticed me for some reason. And hey, are these rifle grunts next to me? Excellent! I recently found out that your troops can actually say different things if you try shooting at them, which is very much paying attention to detail there. I love all of the little details in Battalion Wars, as I've said. Anyhow, coming up is the ammo dump, which you're supposed to destroy rather than capture. I'm gonna try and hit the watchtower with a bazooka shot, but those little things on top of the gate there seem to be blocking me. Oh well, we'll have to go inside. This is where those Solar Empire POWs are being held. I actually didn't notice until my latest playthrough of this stage, but the POWs here consist of assault veterans and, get this, a heavy tank. Try not... It doesn't really make that much sense why you would capture a heavy tank and not trash the thing, but... there are tanks in this area, why am I not shooting them? Yes, it seems I'm going to lose a couple of units here because I was a little too hasty in rushing in here. As with the other POWs, you want to wait before freeing them, as I'm going to do here. Now, Solar Empire units are very strange. They have blue shots. Their rifles have blue shots, and the tanks fire balls of plasma. That's what these weapons are supposed to be, apparently. Plasma. And for that, the Solar Empire is very, very awesome. No matter how little sense it makes. They're a lot more prominent in the sequel than they are here. Here, they're kind of just there. You don't get to see too many of their units. Aside from one bonus mission, which... is this a tank? How did that tank get there? It was hiding in the little hut thing. I didn't notice it was there. Anyways, I'm going to grab this health pack and move on with the level. Now that we've taken out all 3 objectives, that unit was walking into the wall for some reason. All we have to do is get to the extraction point and destroy all the enemies, which is not that hard of a problem. Although, there's a rifle grunt on top of the bridge for some reason. I don't really know why it's there. It's not exactly in a place where it's going to be relevant at all. But these rifle grunts are relevant, and we're going to take them out hopefully by hitting them with a bazooka shot. That's more like it. That has to be the cruelest way to take somebody out. Point blank with an RPG. There are 2 watchtowers that they managed to set up at our extraction point without us ever noticing. Yeah, suffice to say, it probably would have been a good idea to leave units here to guard the extraction point. Of course, they don't tell you to do that, so... And it's not really a problem. You still have to walk all the way back here. Actually, come to think of it, one guy was speedrunning this game, and I wonder if it is in your best interest to leave units here. Actually, no, you don't get bazooka veterans until the POW camps. No. Bad idea. I'm about to lose another bazooka veteran here. Hey, a health pack! Oh, denied. Darn shame.
You made it, Commander. Don't you just love it when a plan comes together?
Ubel has failed again. It is only a matter of time before Vlad demotes him to the rank of boot polisher.
Apparently he did get demoted to boot polisher because that was Ubel's last major appearance in the rest of the story. Like, he's only got a couple of minor appearances in the last few levels, which is a darn shame. I like Ubel. Makes for great comic relief. He's like Flack from Advance Wars. Maybe somebody's going to make a comic about Battalion Wars in the future. Nah, probably not. Next up is one of my favorite air-based levels in the game. Call Sign Eagle is all about air units. In fact, we're going to see every kind of air unit in this mission, including a new one. So that'll be fun, hopefully, to try out.
Good morning, Commander, and welcome to Operation Neptune. You're just in time for the briefing. General Herman is about to lead a battalion of hand-picked men on a ground assault of the Aloha Atoll. Your job is to provide Herman's men with air support as they recapture the island on behalf of our sole allies. Herman's men will assault the beach, then follow the road to the Exylvanian base. During this time, you will need to provide air cover against all credible threats. Good luck, Commander.
Yes, an escort mission in which you provide the air support. They're thankfully very lenient about giving you 100% technique, because this level can be very annoying with all of the fighters everywhere. But first, we have transport copters to shoot down. The way I usually take these out is to lock onto one, fire 4 full missile salvos at it, and then move on to the next one. 4 is enough to put the transport copter into the state in which it gets set on fire and eventually crashes. Now, I unfortunately missed that last one right before it was going to land. I should have shot the one on the right first because it's closer to the ground than the other two. And I lost a fighter already. Now, I don't particularly like the planes in this level, so let's free the gunships that were captured. Gunships. Captured. I'm sorry, where was I? Oh yes, bombers. There are a couple of bombers. You'll want to take those out. We're flying near where Herman's infantry land. His battalion is comprised solely of grunts, which is not a good idea. You should have thrown a rocket. You should have thrown a bazooka or anti-air veteran in there somewhere, Herman. Just saying. I'll be using the gunship for the vast majority of the level here. You're technically not supposed to free the gunships until later, but hey, the fighters can handle it just fine. They can take down the watchtower, so why not? There's some artillery units here. We'll want to keep them from firing at Herman's troops. You'll see that the gold star on the radar represents Herman's position, battalion's position. The silver stars are any secondary objectives that you don't need to clear out. Well, actually you do, because the next secondary objective is some heavy tanks. Herman has no chance against those. Although, just keep in mind, just because something isn't marked with a silver star doesn't mean it's not a threat. I mean, there's a heavy tank near where the flags are, there's a couple of artilleries there too, and of course there's always the chance of the fighters getting smart and actually shooting at Herman's troops. I'm joking, this never happens, but it would be interesting if the computer actually took advantage of something Kuju wasn't counting on. I actually don't think they do. Also, I just got hit by an artillery shot. That's very, very embarrassing. Not a whole lot to say about the level in general at this point. Eventually we're going to get our new air unit, but, you know. Basically, take out the artillery, you take out these MG nests, there's tanks, the bombers, and you're good to go. Grunts can handle other grunts just fine, right? That's all there is, up until the part where the heavy tank and the artillery are. And I just did a sweep to check and see if my other units had taken out the heavy tanks, which they have. They're very good about this. Unfortunately, I lost a gunship in the process. I don't know how that happened. It was probably a passing fighter. So that's all of the MG nests taken out. He has a clear path. Oh wait, here's that heavy tank I mentioned. Now that that's out of the way. In general, I don't like this kind of level because you have to wait for the escort to get to its destination. Anyway, we're gonna need this fighter. It's low on health, so I'm gonna try and shoot down the other fighters in order to get some health back. Say what you will about controlling fighters, it ain't no Star Fox, that's for sure. Right, here we go. We just got our very own Strato Destroyer. Now, I mentioned I mentioned 2 missions ago that Strato Destroyers were slow and not worth using ever. Case in point, the Strato Destroyer is slow, and I'm actually not sure how to get it to drop its bombs. I know it has bombs because I've seen them drop before, but as I fire upon this rifle grunt, you'll notice that my anti-air missiles are being fired and not the bombs. Where's the bombs? This thing is also slow and clunky, as I've said 100 times already. I guess it can take a beating, but that doesn't really matter. The fighter is fast enough to avoid most hits in general. Well, I'm going to give it some airtime at least by taking out these 2 transport copters, because as it turns out, this is the only mission where you're allowed to use the Strato Destroyer at all. In fact, this is the final mission that uses Strato Destroyers in the entire game. There are no more Strato Destroyers in all of Battalion Wars 1, and 99% of the sequel has no Strato Destroyers at all. Talk about an underused unit, am I right? They don't even let you use it in the sequel's multiplayer. Guys, why did you even make this unit if you're not going to get the full use out of it? I mean, like, that'd be like making a unit in Advance Wars or something and only allowing it to be used for a single map. Anyways, we're going to use the fighter for the rest of the mission. Also note that you might have heard the annoying beeping sound that missiles make when they're tracking you. Yes, it turns out that if you fired missiles at a friendly plane, the missiles will make that noise if you then and track the unit you just fired at, even though they don't do any damage, since, you know, friendly fire isn't a thing. I mean, you can hurt yourself, but you can't hurt your allies. It's all very odd, and I have nothing to say until the last objective presents itself. Why, what's this? An enemy Strato Destroyer! Now, if the whole Strato Destroyer thing didn't work the first time, what makes Vlad think it's going to work the second time? Oh, sure, there's two of them. They're not threats at all. One of them just went down to a regular fighter plane. Maybe if you had to protect something and the Strato Destroyers were keen on destroying it. I'm not even sure anymore. So we're going to wait for the fighter to destroy this Strato Destroyer, and then the level will be over. We'll collect our easy S rank. I know I lost a lot of units, but as I said, this mission is lenient on technique because it's so easy to lose air units to crashing into the ground, being shot at by fighters, etc., etc., etc. That's the end of that. I may like this stage because it's all air units, but that was not the best way to go about an all-air stage, I will admit. And the Strato Destroyers at the end, that's just filler. I mean, come on. Well, it has a pretty nice song, level music, assuming you can hear it anyways. Hooray for a perfect S rank. I've only gotten that 26 times before in this stage. Yes.
Are you attempting to take me by surprise, my frontier foes? You should know by now that I can predict your every move.
Exylvanian transport copters are delivering reinforcements to the island. Shoot them down before they can land. First rate, Commander. You prevented 4 out of 4 Exylvanian T-copters from reinforcing the garrison.